It's 724-438-3900. That's 438-3900. Radio Bingo heard exclusively on your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS, Uniontown.
At Montgomery Medical, they have a team of dedicated medical providers for you to meet. Led by Dr. Marcy Goyes, trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care. Newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. Same-day appointments available for acute care as well. Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Hours available from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday, and 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday. Located at 100 Bridgeview Drive, Suite 3, Smithfield, Pennsylvania, 15478. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment today. That's 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment today. Now accepting new patients.
This is The Great Outdoors with Jason White, exploring the great outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, The Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hello, friends. I'm Jason White. Welcome to the show today. Got a pretty good lineup for you, so really excited. Let's dive right in. So this past weekend, we had our inaugural cleanup at Wild Acres Farm. Worked along the roadways, actually cleaned up an old barn, cleaned along 10 Mile Creek and Daniels Run. So really excited about that. Really thankful for all the volunteers. As I've said on past shows, if you can take a trash bag, go out in your local community, pick up some trash, garbage, etc. Every little bit makes a difference. I actually, as I was walking into the studio today, there was a lady out along the roadway doing that exact thing. So if everybody can do their part, it makes a big difference. Upcoming, we have a trout stalking scheduled for April the 28th. That'll be at 3 p.m. Everybody's welcome to come and check that out. Also, I wanted to make everybody know that this upcoming Saturday is youth turkey hunting in Pennsylvania. That is the 22nd of April, and then the 29th of April is adult turkey. So, hey, get your hunting licenses if you don't have them. Get out and enjoy some turkey hunting. Spring gobbler in Pennsylvania is absolutely amazing. I was out this morning out in the woods, doing some scouting. So get up, enjoy it, hear those gobbles, see them big birds strutting, and make some memories. Upcoming, we have a really big event, May the 19th. The Appalachian Pipeliners Association are hosting an inaugural Trout Masters fly fishing tournament. Again, that's May the 19th. It's actually a Friday. It's open to the public. It benefits the Appalachian Pipeliners Association. They do a lot with educational programs with kids in the Appalachian region. So anybody that supports this event or participates, I just understand that it's going towards those initiatives. Some of the rules for the event, it's a fly fishing only event. It's from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Registration will be you can either register in advance through the Appalachian Pipeliners website or also MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. Appalachian Pipeliners website is www.appalachianpipeliners.org. Again, www.appalachianpipeliners.org. So if you want to participate, it's $200 a person. That covers your entry fee, plus there's food, music, and other things that you can do. Approximately 60 fish will be tagged. So every fish, if you catch a tag fish, there's going to be different prizes. There's actually going to be certain fish that will be pre-weighed, pre-scaled. So we will know the length. We will know the weight. So we will have first, second, third in regards to the biggest fish. There will be prizes for the most tags that are caught. There will also be some skill prizes that people can participate in. Most fish caught. And it's going to be an awesome day. It's going to be an awesome day on the water. Everybody will be fly fishing. which we're really excited about. There will be food, there'll be drinks, music, and also the 5 stand will be up and running. So anybody that wants to bring their shotgun, shoot some clay pigeons, can do that too. So if you'd like to support the energy industry, support their educational initiatives, please come check us out. Really love to have you. Again, you can register at www.appalachianpipeliners.org, or you can also go to marianaoutdoors.com. That kind of wraps up the, I guess you could say, the next 30 days, whether that's the success of our cleanup, trout stalking again April 28th. You got youth turkey this Saturday. You got adult turkey next Saturday. And then, like I said, May the 19th, the Appalachian Pipeliners are going to have an amazing, amazing event. So we really look forward to having you. But, this show is about the great outdoors of Pennsylvania and beyond. And I want to talk about an event that I actually got to go to this past weekend. It was at the Wissahickon Creek. And for those that don't know where that's at, that's actually in, basically it's in the city of Philadelphia. Sporting out their shirt today. So shout out to the folks and you know who you are. The Wissahickon Crick anglers, amazing group of people. Certainly, they pour their hearts and souls into fishing. And I wanted to talk about that because I got to go to, I got invited to this event. And for some of the listeners out there, I've been dealing with my house burning down. And so it's been crazy busy. I did the cleanup and literally just jumped in the car and drove out to Philly. Really didn't know what to expect. And I get there and, on-street parking, a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just kind of like, well, what am I walking into? Go down this gravel pathway, and it was kind of like, I don't even really know how to explain it. It was almost like I was going into an oasis. You would have never known that you were in the city. Literally, these gargantuan trees, I can't even describe, must have been 80 or 100 foot tall. Almost felt like you were in this, extremely old forest feeling, beautiful tree canopy tops. And then I get down to the stream, and what an amazing creek that they have. What an amazing gem, hidden gem. It literally felt like an oasis. And then, lo and behold, here's my good friends with the Wissahickon Crick anglers. And, again, putting their hearts and souls into what they're doing. I apologize, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say they had over 200 participants. It might have even been 300. But to see, what they had done, I want to say that they approximately stocked $15,000 worth of trout for this event. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. And I applaud them. And certainly if anybody gets the opportunity, by all means, please check out, that park space, the Wissahickon Creek, just to go down there, along the stream and just to take a walk. They actually have this walkway trail. I just thought it was amazing. I was kind of in awe, honestly. Really kind of struck me because, just a pea gravel walkway, but then as we're walking, it follows a creek, meanders along the creek, but then there's just this amazing bridge, these old bridges from the 1890s, early and even into the early 1900s. But just to see the craftsmanship, cobblestone walkways, these bridges that are made out of this, I'm not sure the type of granite it is, but it's as you walk along their walkways and also these bridges, it has this sparkly shine to it. It almost looks like glitter. Really, really beautiful. I cannot imagine not only how they did that, but I couldn't imagine today what it would cost to do that. So really a testament to the craftsmen of the time and the era. But if you want to see some old-fashioned, trade work, it's really those are a piece of art. There were some bridges. There was an old like a water well to capture spring water, and it was almost like a lion's head. It was all chiseled. no longer in service, but it was still there, basically like a piece of art. It was just really amazing. These old like Ranger booths that I thought were really interesting with wooden shingles. So yeah, if you're in the Philadelphia area and you're looking for something different, by all means check it out, check them out. But I wanted to share a story because of this, because I saw how hard they worked as a group of people, as a community, sharing their passion. And I thought, I saw this little boy. This little boy was just happy as could be. I saw him standing there by the check-in station. And, he was talking about the fish that he caught. And I'm talking a kid, he couldn't have been more than 8 years old tops. And I was just totally, it brought back memories for me. And, for those that don't know, I used to fish opening day of trout season in the state of Maryland. My dad and I would go to Maryland fishing because we just at that time had felt that, it was a better experience. We got to get up and drive together and have our pack sandwiches and just, it was kind of like our thing. And I can recall coming home the one day and there was a young boy walking along the creek in my home community of Mariana. And I had asked my dad, like, well, why isn't the creek stocked? And my dad was like, I don't know. Because the creek that we just fished in Maryland looked exactly like, 10 Mile Creek. And seeing that, knowing that I got to have that experience with my dad, and knowing that, maybe not every other kid in life might be garnered that same opportunity, that seed was planted in my brain and my heart. And I just felt like, hey, why don't I try to do something to bring this to this community? And, that was kind of how I had started my journey, I guess you could say, with the outdoors in the capacity of, I guess you could say, community service. Ran a ticket, raised some money the first year. And then it evolved into a canoe race, which ultimately PennDOT actually kind of destroyed that idea with the destruction of our park space. But it evolved and it got us where we are now. It's on to bigger and better things, despite the hurdles in life. But I had all these flashbacks when I was in Philly because I'm seeing these people give all this tireless effort. And I'm looking around and I'm like, all these smiling faces and these kids and people are making memories. And they're probably going to get some folks addicted to the outdoors, which is an amazing thing because, let's face the facts. When you look at it, this group raised $15,000 for trout, okay? So that means a fish farm, received this money. Then they're stocking all these trout. All these fishermen have to have fishing licenses. So the Pennsylvania Fish Commission now is benefiting from, let's just say, 300 people at $30 approximately a clip. So, the Fish Commission's making money off of fishing license sales. And then all these people are buying rods and reels and bait and fishing line and all the other tackle that's necessary. So systemically, from an economic perspective, look at all the good that these folks have done for their community and for their area by getting people to go out and go fishing. And that's also not to, overlook these kids and even adults that need an outlet, that are looking for an opportunity to get outside. And, groups like the Wissahickon Crick anglers that are putting forth these efforts. What I saw opportunity. I saw these people that just want to do good. You could see it in their faces. You could see it in the work that they had done. And I know that they already set a bigger goal for next year. And it gave me, again, flashbacks. And although I saw so many good flashbacks, it also brought terror to my heart because I can remember getting wore down. And when I say that, I mean not to scare anybody, but what happened with me, I didn't see the positive rapport from the Fish Commission or from some of these other agencies that you think would have jumped on board to say, oh my goodness, this is so great. This is so good for our communities, whether that's the local elected officials or even farther up the food chain. And to be blunt with you, that didn't happen. And what happened was there's usually in every group a few people that are kind of the heart and soul of the idea. They're the movers, the shakers. They're like the engine that really drives the machine. And after a while, it really beats you down when you feel like in your heart, and in your heart that you're doing all this good. And the biggest thing that I want to say about what I saw and what I experienced was groups like the Wissahickon Crick anglers and the different clubs here in southwestern Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania as a whole. They are the engines of the communities at a grassroots level. And I think that's something that we miss. Deep down, we're missing that. It's right in front of us. It's really right in front of us that you have these people with these hearts of gold and the drive and the passion to do good for their communities. And when we're sitting here talking about drug epidemics, when we're sitting here talking about our economies are struggling, when we're sitting here talking about things to do for our communities, when we're talking about environmental remediation or even garbage cleanups, these groups are segues to a lot of those issues. I'm not saying that all these groups, including the ones that I run with the Marion Outdoorsman Association, are by any stretch the one-all fix for, whatever it may be in your community. But you got to look at it like pieces of the puzzle. And, to go to, for example, I went to this beautiful park space. People were running on a trail. They're being healthy. People were fishing, buying fishing license. They're utilizing their time in a valuable way. They're not doing drugs. They're not getting into trouble. They're not breaking into people's houses. They're doing something positive with their time. They're buying gear, bait, tackle, like I said before, investing money into the economy. These are all positives. From a farming perspective, they're buying fish from a fish farm. We don't connect the dots in many capacities about what, for example, hunters and fishermen, their correlation to farming. They have a direct correlation. So, everybody has to understand, look what they're investing back in just into agriculture. When you look about Philadelphia or even Pittsburgh, you may not think about that. But those are two of the biggest markets in the state of Pennsylvania that utilize agricultural products. Just so happens in this particular conversation, we're talking about trout. And they had some amazing trout, really were. They should be proud of, what they stocked. It was pretty amazing. But at the heart of it, groups like this deserve more recognition. They deserve to be promoted more. They deserve to be heard. As we were looking at the creek, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, wow, what this could be. It already is beautiful, but opportunities for habitat improvement, opportunities for rock deflectors, rock cross veins, implementing general, they call it Chapter 105 through the Department of Environmental Protection. They call it fish habitat improvement. It's a general permit number 1, which is something I'm actively advocating that we need to reform those permitting processes, because let's just say the Wissahickon Crick anglers decide that they want to partner with their city to do a project. It's a heck of a burden and a process just from a permitting situation as of today to get the appropriate permits to do, habitat improvement. We're supposed to be talking about improving the environment, and groups like this get hurdles thrown in their way. And I'm speaking on my own behalf because I've done it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Our permitting processes and procedures are so layered. All it is it feels like you're in quicksand. You feel like you're trying to do good, and then the next thing you know, you got a $10,000 bill that it's going to be owned to an engineer for basically processes that were not necessarily needed. When you're talking about things that are improving the environment, we really need to reevaluate what's important here. People are saying they want things to be better. Well, then we need to make it easier so people can make it better. And in the same token, when I say, about these groups, so many opportunities. And it's not just my group with the Marion Outdoorsmen. I see groups like the Wissahickon Crick anglers that want to do good. And and I'm not speaking on anybody's behalf, so please, anybody out there, whether you're from Philly or Southwest PA, please don't think that I'm saying this from my heart. These different agencies, these different groups, communities need to see these groups as allies, partners, segues to do good, segues to help the community, segues to build the economy, to develop conservation initiatives, to implement cleanups, to do so much. And it really it made me so happy to see what I saw that they were doing, but also I could see opportunities. I see and saw opportunities for different groups and entities to help them to grow what they're doing, to improve the habitat, to address, rubbish along the streams that needs to be cleaned up. We can do better there collectively across the entire Commonwealth. But, at the heart of it, I can't stress enough. What I saw out there, anybody should check it out. I know they're going to have another tournament next year, which I'm really excited. Hopefully that I'll get to go back. And I know that, I know some of them, and hopefully I would love to see all the Wissahickon Crick anglers come out for the Appalachian Pipeliners inaugural fly fishing tournament, May the 19th. But it's really amazing the friendships that I've made, and I really respect deep down what they're doing. I can't say that enough. But to know the potential, to see the potential, for people to understand that, when we talk about the outdoors, at times I've talked to people about fishing, and they'll basically, I've been mocked or even at times made fun of, like, oh, he just knows about fishing. Well, guess what? I think you're kind of totally clueless, because if you don't understand or acknowledge the environmental, the conservation, the biology, physics, mathematics, the things that go into all of these topics, understanding aquaculture, understanding soil samples, understanding all these things. The outdoors is all these things. It's not, and I think for whatever reason, which I really at this juncture do not fully understand, we've undervalued the outdoors. And it goes back to these groups. I think that we really need to acknowledge the clubs across the entire Commonwealth, whether that's a fishing club, hunting association, whatever it may be. A lot of them are doing tremendous things, if not all of them. They want to do more, whether that's educational programs for kids, adults, veterans, first responders. I can't stress that enough. But they need support, they need support. And whether that's their local communities, whether that's individuals, members, government agencies and entities, not blockading with too much regulation, permits, charging too many fees or whatever they want to call it. I mean, it's taxes. But, they're doing good. They're doing good. And deep down in my heart, I hope everybody really hears what I'm saying. We need to look, sometimes we're always looking for the answers to our collective problems. And I think a lot of times we overlook those solutions. And a lot of times they're right here in your communities. Get your hands dirty. Go to some of these volunteer type things and make your community better. Inspire somebody. Put a smile on a little kid's face. Like that smile that I saw on that young child's face at that event was truly something to behold. I probably will never forget that. But, I just want to tell everybody, if you're looking for a good time, looking for a good experience, looking for something that might catch you off guard in a good way, go check out Wissahickon Crick. Go check out the history there, Go take a walk on their walking trail. Take your fly pole. Enjoy a little bit of fishing. It's an amazing, amazing experience. Now, in the same token, I want to talk about some regulations and even some conservation thoughts and ideas here. So, Pennsylvania is extremely diverse from an ecological and environmental perspective, with our different altitudes and obviously latitude, longitude, etc., hills and valleys. Not everywhere is the same when it comes to the weather. So, something I thought was extremely interesting was when I got there for this event. You know, the water temperature was up a little bit, and the fish weren't hitting extremely aggressively. And you have, like, anybody that has or has not trout fished, a few degrees in water temperature can make a big difference. So, we had the conversation about when opening day should be actually in parts of Pennsylvania that maybe get a little warmer earlier than others. If you remember, prior to COVID, southeast Pennsylvania actually started 2 weeks early. I think based upon clearly from conservation conversations and also ecological and environmental and looking at simply the weather, I think it's kind of open to say that, maybe there's a conversation to be had there that southeast Pennsylvania needs to go back to being a couple weeks earlier. I don't really think that's my opinion. I think that's just simply based upon temperature and fact. And the colder the water, certainly in the spring, the better for the fish. And, as the temperature rises above usually 65 to 66 degrees and you start pushing 70, the trout will start getting very laxy-daisy. They'll get lethargic. And it just makes it a little bit more difficult fishing. Not to say that the fish won't survive. The fish will just get a little more, I guess you could call it, think of it like if you were going to go for a jog. Would you like to go for a jog in, say, 60-degree weather where it's a little cooler? Or do you want to go for a jog when it's, 95 and humid? Clearly, you're going to go when it's a little cooler just because it feels better. When it's hot and humid, you're not really wanting to do as much. Think of a trout in the same capacity. Water temperature for them, though, is much more critical when it comes to their activity, whether they're active or not. So, that's just a little bit of a thing that I picked up when I was out there. That was something that was discussed, was about, that thought and idea. And I was like, that's a great idea. I haven't really, in Southwest PA, we just had, it was frigid cold still. But out in Philly, they're starting to warm up a little bit more. Their nights are obviously getting warmer than ours. And it just goes to show the diversity of Pennsylvania when it comes to just simply the weather. So, there's not a one size fits all policy for Pennsylvania. I think that also rolls over to the Pennsylvania Game Commission. When you look at Pennsylvania Game Commission, years ago we converted to these, they call them wildlife management units. Personally, I could not tell you how much I disagree with management units. I have no understanding as to why we went that route. It's in the same capacity with the fishing regulations. We have counties. Even if you want to look at it regionally, whether that's 6 or 8 counties collectively, but the way that we're handling things from the management process with the Pennsylvania Game Commission, there's no county lines. There's these crisscrossing, like, you go to whatever highway, this highway to this road. And we have units that are 9 counties. And they touch 9 counties, not 9 counties as the perimeter. That would probably be easier to understand. But crisscrossing 9 counties. For anybody out there like looking for data, and if you're going to make good conservation decisions, let's be hypothetical here. If we were going to do a survey county by county, you got basically a pinpoint understanding of what you're doing. Somebody comes into Pennsylvania and you say, "Oh, I'm going to hunt in 2A." Most people look at you like you got a third eye on your forehead because they're like, "Where the heck is that at?" If I said, "Hey, I'm going to go to Washington County or Lycoming County," they would have a much better understanding of where you're talking about. So I think strategically, hunting with a sniper rifle, making conservation decisions is a much better opportunity than using a shotgun. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. I think that we are certainly not getting the quality of data that we need to make good decisions, whether that's water temperature or if we're talking about wildlife. When we're talking about wildlife, I've been dealing with a lot right now in regards to predation. I've been working on some state and / federal permits for hawks. At my farm, I have a hunting and fishing preserve, wild acres. Feel free if anybody ever wants to do a bird hunt. But one of the last days that we had a hunt, we put out 40 birds for a group. 4 of the birds got killed by hawks before they even got to them. First of all, this is embarrassing. Second of all, it's just flat out terrible that that problem is that extreme, that these hawks are so bold and brave to come down and do that. It's just a very, very extremely bad scenario. So I reached out to the powers that be within the state and federal agencies, and what a process I'm dealing with right now. What a process. There's actually agencies that still aren't even in the office yet from COVID. It's a little bit, I'll have more details in the future on some of these topics, but you can't even call and actually speak to anybody. You get these automated phone systems trying to do these depredation permits. So when you do a hawk depredation permit in Pennsylvania, first of all, U.S. Fish and Wildlife is actually a little bit unaware that there's even hawk issues in Pennsylvania. I cannot tell you how many hunters that I've spoken with that have complained about hawks killing rabbits, killing squirrels, killing house cats, like out in people's yards, grabbing them and killing them, killing the pheasants at the game lands. I've heard comments from hunters where game commission wardens have flat out said that, "Oh, well, we just look at it like the hawks are going to kill the pheasants, in a week or two after we release them." I don't understand how we got to this point. How did we get to the point where a hawk has become so important to our ecological system that we have to lack all management practices? I've totally, I'm a little bit puzzled. I'm trying to figure it out because I've been talking to different state and federal agencies and I'm not getting an answer. And, I know that you all drive down the road and you're seeing the extreme amounts of hawks. I know that people were complaining at the game lands. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing people within the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. And I'm not getting answers. I'm not getting back to the prior comment data. The best people with the data, you know who they are? They're the farmers. They're the people that are seeing these things every day. They're the hunters that are out in the woods seeing these things every day. The fishermen that are on the stream seeing these things every day. And guess what? Your voices at this juncture aren't being utilized when it comes to data collection. And that's something we got to fix. Everybody should have the ability. If anybody uses OnX Hunt app, I'm not advocating for it, but if you use it, you would understand what I mean. And it's extremely efficient. It's easy to use. You can click on it, share data, really good. An idea like that where anybody could get on their computer or their phone and upload that, hey, I saw this here, or hey, this animal's here at this point, boom. That's where we need to get to. We need to share information, and not only share information, but then whether it's the Game Commission or the Fish Commission, they can make good decisions. You can't make good decisions if you don't have good information. If you take in bad information, you're going to get bad results. And in many capacities, by ignoring, whether that's fishermen, hunters, farmers, we're not taking in good data to make good decisions. And same thing comes with these permits. Because there's bad data, we now have bad processes. I'll give you a good example. Another example, beyond the hawks, which, mind you, I actually don't want to kill the hawks. I could care less to shoot the hawks. But I have to pay, if I want to move the hawks, I would have to pay the federal government $130,000 to set traps and catch these birds and move them 50 miles away. Not saying they won't come back, but that's what I would have to pay the federal government as of today to just simply move these things. Does anybody see that as a problem, or financially, there's no way in the world that that's even financially reasonable? I'll give you another example. Blue herons. I'm sure a lot of people have seen blue herons along our waterways in Pennsylvania. According to the federal government, there's only, I want to say, 8,000 birds that live in the state of Pennsylvania. Not sure how they got that number, but that's a number that they have. That being said, there are fish farms in Pennsylvania. Where do you think a lot of these blue heron go? They go to the fish farms. It's easy pickings. The fish farmers are not allowed to defend their property. That being said, if the fish farmers would have the ability to either get some financial restitution, or even if the government wants to help pay to, again, move the birds, or even, let's just say, what about nets or screens over the pens? All these things are options right now. And it's totally unfair because these options do exist for cows. They exist for sheep. So, for example, if a bald eagle comes down and grabs a lamb out of a field, that happens, that the farmer would get reimbursed for the sheep by the government because obviously hawks or bald eagles are protected. Same capacity, bald eagle comes down or a heron and just pecks away at somebody's, fish farm ponds. They get zero restitution. They get nothing. Basically, it's fair game. And at this juncture, we've put basically these folks on the back burner like they're not important, which I think is totally and utterly crazy. But it screams, again, to the point of poor data equals poor decision making. And if you don't have good data, you're never going to make good decisions. So one of the things we're really pushing in the capacity of the Farm Bureau is to try to educate and talk about, hey, like, what do we got to do to get better information? None of us can make good decisions. I don't care what business you're involved with. I don't care what group you're involved with, whether that's the Farm Bureau, whether that's some government agency. It doesn't really matter. We got to take in good information and we got to communicate. And right now, there's just been too many barriers to be able, within government, to convey that information. So, we're working very diligently with the Farm Bureau to try to do things to help, hopefully get our Pennsylvania legislature to push some reforms within permitting. We're trying to push some things when it comes to, the ease of these other permits, trying to break down barriers, trying to cut some of the red tape. Some of this stuff is like long conversations, and by all means, anybody ever wants to talk to me, I'm happy to, go into further detail, but we're just so bogged down. We're so bogged down right now, whether that's with permitting, whether that's with too many agencies and groups getting involved in some of these conversations, or whether it's, these local groups that are just trying to do good. And we've created such a quagmire, such a spider web of unknowns for people that they don't even really want to push forward with some of the opportunities and ideas that can make what they're doing so much bigger and better. And that's, one of the things that personally, I want to see groups like the Wissahickon Crick anglers not only grow, but I want to see them, I would love to see them, feel confident enough and feel supported enough that if they want to do bigger and better things to expand their reach or to expand their thoughts and ideas, that they have support from, whether that's the local community or, again, the elected officials, the different state and federal agencies. That's what we should do. Because that's what I think, at least in my heart, that's what I see our government's supposed to be in our country, is that we're supposed to work together. So when we just got to all, deep down, we got to all come together. We got to see groups and these positive things, and we got to make it happen. Because the red tape, we keep complaining about it. We keep complaining about government in many capacities. And first, you got to talk about it, and next thing is start implementing ideas and solutions. And I know right now, through the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, we're doing a lot right now to try to implement ideas. So please, something I want to say is, if anybody can support the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, whether you want to be a member, make a donation, please do. We're really working hard. It's a grassroots organization, and we're really standing up and trying to represent and support people, whether it's fish farms, whether it's, people with upland bird farms, whether it's hunters. I know the whole Sunday hunting thing is becoming a topic of conversation, so hopefully we can help. I hope at some point, I know from a personal perspective, I want to see it happen. But, one of my goals is to educate people and get it to be our Farm Bureau policy. There's a lot of good things happening, but it takes people like you that want to get engaged and be active and have your voices heard. So just remember, it doesn't matter if you live on a farm or if you're fishing in a creek in downtown Philadelphia. Those fish came from a fish farm. So all of us are intertwined and interconnected in some capacity. Or if you're eating at the dinner table, we all eat food. So we're all, in some essence, we are all farmers. So please join the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. Donate to the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. Fantastic organization. I can't speak to it enough. We got amazing people. Grassroots, just like the little organization that I saw this past weekend with the Wissahickon Crick anglers doing amazing things. Grassroots can do big things if everybody comes together. That being said, I want to follow up about the events upcoming once again. Trout stalking, April the 28th, 3 p.m. That's at Wild Acres, 1997 Morey Road, Clarksville, PA, 15322. This upcoming Saturday is Pennsylvania Youth Turkey Hunting. Again, this Saturday, the 22nd of April, Pennsylvania Youth Turkey. The 29th of April is Adult Turkey. So please, if you're going out, please make sure you know what you're doing. Please make sure you got your license. Please make sure you're safe. I know turkey season is one of the times where people in the past have made poor choices. Identify your target. Never point your firearm at something unless you know exactly what it is. And before you click that safety off, make sure you identify again a second time. Never, ever, ever, ever point your gun at something without knowing what you're pointing it at. Because that's how people get shot. And that's the last thing we want to do is have something like that. Additionally, May 19th, APA, Appalachian Pipeliners Association Fishing Tournament. It's going to be huge. Everybody's welcome. $200 a person. Fly rods only. Flies only. Be based upon a tag system. We'll have tags on fish, approximately 60 of them. Additionally, some of the tags, the fish will be pre-weighed, measured, so we'll know who's got the biggest fish, etc., without even having to harm a fish. So that's very important to us. Most fish caught is going to be another bracket. Most tags caught. So please come on, check it out. There's going to be a lot of skill prizes. Please support the Appalachian Pipeliners Association. They're obviously energy-based. And if you would like to join the event, www.appalachianpipeliners.org. Again, www.appalachianpipeliners.org. You can get additional information at marianaoutdoors.com. That's the Mariana Outdoorsman Association's website. And also, you can go to Mariana Outdoorsman Association at Facebook. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody. Look forward to seeing you next week. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.
All right, Jason, great stuff. Thank you so much. See you next week. Thank you. That's the Great Outdoors Show with Jason White and the Mariana Outdoorsman Association on WMBS. Taking a look at that WMBS weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania on this Wednesday. Right now we have sun and 50 going up to 68 this afternoon. The overnight low at 54, warming up to 84 with more sun. Thursday, 61. Overnight Thursday for the weekend. Friday at 83, down to 67 on Saturday with rain. 54 on Sunday with the threat of rain in the afternoon, and 36 overnight Sunday. Monday at 54 and 61 for Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Right now at 48, and again up to 68 this afternoon and 85 on Thursday. This is your local station, 590 AM and 101.1 FM, W266 DB, WMBS Uniontown, Pennsylvania, online at WMBS590.com, and also available as well on the TuneIn Radio app and on Facebook Live. CBS News on the way at 11. Good morning.
This is CBS News.